everyone. Welcome to Making Digital Zines with Canva, presented by Studio 300 at the Fountaindale Public Library District. In this short class, I'm going to take you through how you can make zines using a browser-based free program for graphic design called Canva.com. So if you're new to zine making, or you've never heard of zines before, or you've never gotten a zine before, zines are little do-it-yourself style magazines that people usually make for fun, or to share interests. It started as a way of sharing fan magazines and promoting fandom and around little fan communities, and then over time became a art form all on its own and can be used to promote anything you want, whether it's video games you like, books you like reading, political beliefs, special interests, or really anything you want to write or make art about. You can self-publish through a zine. It's just a really cool kind of artistic way to get into self-publishing. And typically when you make zines, you give them away for free. And there are some folks who have taken zines and will sell them on the internet for a very small amount or for free and try to distribute them to as many people as possible. So before we get started on how you can use Canva to make zines, I just want to show you examples of some handmade ones. So in this presentation here are some pictures of zines people have made by hand. They started off as things that you can make using collage, scrap paper you can find at home, and people draw in them on their own. Sometimes there's teams of people making them. This is a really cool example of a collage type of zine page. Or you don't have to be super good at drawing to make your own zines. You can just doodle, use coloring pages, use really anything you have lying around. You can promote your own series and use photography and handwrite all the lettering, use newspapers, use photographs, use sketchbook pages, or you can just use it as like a little diary, make your own posters. So there are a lot of different styles that you can bring to zines. Some people take it and make very graphic design based ones like this one here, or they make them look more sort of grungy and handmade, or you could just go really, really simple and make a zine with a Sharpie or a black pen and just hand draw and hand write everything. This person has cut out letters from a magazine. This person has hand drawn the cover. So there's lots of different directions that you can go. Some people make totally digital zines that makes it a little bit easier and cheaper to distribute to people, so you don't have to mail stuff out. And you can also share via URL links or post to sites like Instagram and Tumblr, and get it out to as many people as possible. So that is kind of the idea behind the project we're going to make today. So in order to start your project, you're going to go to canva.com, canva.com. And typically when you go there, it will ask you to log in with a free account, but this is usually the front page and what you will see. Canva is really cool because it comes with its own presets of templates, so you can make presentations, you can make social media posts, you can even edit videos and short things like that in Canva, or make your own websites. We're just going to go really simple and look for a letter size template for a letter size piece of paper. So typically what you would do to get started in Canva is you can use one of these templates to get started. I want a letter size page that is landscape oriented. If I just click on the letter template and you are using the free version of Canva, it will open a portrait template, and I won't be able to turn it, unfortunately, because you need to pay for premium in order to do that. But you can make a custom size document, which is what we're going to do. So if you click on this purple button that says create a design, you can click custom size at the bottom, and we are going to do 11 inches for the width and 8.5 for the height. And hit create new design. So here is my blank page, just to show you what we're kind of going for in terms of a goal. If you're making a zine out of a single piece of paper, whether you're doing it by hand or you're doing it digitally, you want to have a page that has the page layout like this. So you want your page divided in half and then divided into 8 squares, and these numbers are the numbers of what the pages are when you finally make it into a booklet and you flip through it. So you just want to keep that in mind as you're designing, that the number page you're on and the orientation is going to be important. So since I'm designing on this digital page, I know that this page is actually upside down, but when I cut it out and fold it, everything will be right side up. So I'm just keeping this as a reference next to me as I design my next page. So if you start with a blank page here, Canva has a really cool feature in that you can use grids to drag and drop elements into your design. So if we go here to the Elements tab and scroll down, we have frames and grids. They all have this little cloud and landscape design that lets you know that you can drag and drop whatever you want in there. If I click See All, I get a really cool gallery of different grids that I can use. And what we're looking for, they don't have a grid that is 8 blocks evenly divided up, but they do sometimes have 4-block grids, which is what I'm going to be looking for. It might take you a little bit of scrolling to find exactly what you need, but you just have to keep in mind that you're looking for a grid that has 4 panels on the bottom. So these 2 grids here are kind of what I am going for. 2 grids that have a row of 4 parts. So these 2 look like they are going to do nicely. I'm going to start by clicking on one. And this is close to what I need, but I don't like these white gutters in the middle. So I'm going to mess with the spacing by clicking on spacing up here and bringing the grid spacing down to 0. And now I have my bottom row of pages, but I need my top row. All we are going to do then is click on the grid, hit Command C to copy and Command V to paste. And now I have a second grid over on top of my first one, and I'm just going to move that up to the top. Over my bottom grid. So now I have 8 pages, and I didn't have to measure or take a lot of time doing that or anything. So from here, you can drag and drop images into your digital zine sort of framework. You can draw stuff and scan it in, or you can make a collage by hand and then scan that and drop it into this template. I'm going to use Canva's library of assets so that I can make my entire thing digitally, and it can be on any subject you really want. I think I'm going to use a theme of flowers, and maybe like flower types, because I've been really into gardening lately. So let's try searching for different things. If I click elements, get out of the grid section, and search for things like flowers. I have these elements I can use, but right now I'm looking for stuff to use as backgrounds, so I'm going to click on photos. And this looks like a good one. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in here. If you drag a background into this template, you can double click on the image to edit it while you are in here. So if I wanted to move this to the side, I could. Wanted to crop it a little bit better. Or you can change all sorts of settings of the photo, just like this, like the contrast. It might be a little bit tough to see on the screen. Or you can change the tint just to give it a different feel. So what I'm going to do now is search Canva's library for different photos, backgrounds, elements I can use to decorate each page. Just referencing my other zine, so I remember what orientation everything is. We're going to start with page 1. So we're going to get the backgrounds in place first, so I remember how each page should be turned. So to start, what we're going to do is I'm going to search for something I like gardens, and go to photos, and use what comes up as a background for each page. I kind of like this one, and if I drag it over this template, we can go ahead and see that it is forming to the size of each page. If I double click on the image, it puts me in a menu where I can just edit that single image without worrying about the rest of the document. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this background around. Do that for all of the backgrounds in this top row. So let's see. And there is my top row. So I'm liking how those backgrounds are looking. I'm just going to drop in the backgrounds for the bottom row. So there are my backgrounds. The next step I'm going to do is lay a colored square over each page, just so that I have a place to put my text later on. I'm going to do this by going back to elements, clicking lines and shapes, and you can click the see all button to see all the different shapes that Canva has. I'm just going with a regular square and putting it over my background. And from here you can use the top toolbar to make adjustments, I'm using this gradient transparency tool to just lay a transparent square over each page. So you can do this with really any color, whatever you think matches the background, or they can all be the same. Canva is kind of auto-generating colors as I go because it's reading what colors are being used in the document. Sometimes that can work out for you. Sometimes you might not like that, so it's totally okay to change it by going up in this color tool and picking a different color. I think I like that one better. And go ahead and just repeat these steps. I'm just using copy paste to quickly lay in all of my squares, and I will go back and change the color later. So there are my squares and colors. You can always go in to make fine-tuned adjustments with the spacing and the positioning by zooming in and holding down Command plus to zoom into the page. For right now, I want all of these to be centered, so I'm holding down Shift and clicking each rectangle in this row. I want them all sort of positioned right here on the page, and to make sure that they're evenly spaced, we're just going to go to Position, hit Center. Oh, whoops. We don't need to hit Middle because they've already all been aligned, but if you wanted to align them, you can align them through the middle. And we are going to space evenly horizontally. And that will get you a decent spacing for each page. If I wanted to adjust that a little bit, I could always make some of these smaller. And move them with the arrow keys back and forth until I get a spacing that I like. I'm gonna actually zoom in a little bit more. And go ahead and do that for each one of these, just fine-tune the adjustments. All right, and I'm just going to go ahead and do the same thing for the bottom row. Each page doesn't have to be perfect, since when you print it out, the pages are pretty much going to be viewed on their own. And then once you have your backgrounds and your transparencies looking the way you like, now you can just add in text. I am always referencing this back and forth, especially when I'm working on text. So we are going to go ahead and use the text tool. And you can, you can click this body text bar to begin adding what you need. You can always type it in here and then rotate it to fit on the page, or you can type it in a Word document and then paste it into this type bar, but I'm going to go ahead and work on that for a little bit here. You can also use these type templates to add in titles or other elements that you would really like. And use the sidebars to resize. In this page, I'm working on a little sort of poem or call out, and I'm just going to add text effects to the text on the page. So if you go to this toolbar up at the top, you can hit effects and use these to give the words a little bit of dimension so they stand out from the background. Might help if I change the color on here. There we go. You can also use elements like these graphics to dress up your pages and give them a little bit of visual interest. I'm going to look for a ladybug. But now that I have something on every page, it is time for me to go ahead and print this off so that we can fold it. So if you go to the share button and hit download, it'll give you an option to download your document as a PNG. You're going to hit the purple download button. And if you're using the free account, you will need to hit this ellipses button with the 3 dots, and then hit download watermark draft. And we are going to go ahead and save this to the desktop. And from here you can open up your document and hit File Print to print off a copy. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And here is our printed zine. So I have just printed out the zine that we were working on the computer and trimmed off the white borders that printed along with the paper. First thing you're going to do is just fold the entire page lengthwise like this. And then unfold it and bring both edges of the paper towards the center of the page. You want to fold it so that it's in fourths. I'm just going to do some adjusting here. And then the final step is to fold the middle of the paper in half so that all of the lines on the page have a crease in them. And you want it to sit like a little pup tent like that. And then get a pair of scissors. Grab the paper and cut along the middle of the page about halfway so that when you unfold everything, it will make this star shape. And then you can fold the zine closed. And you have your little paper zine all ready to go. This second technique for making digital zines makes formatting and working on it a little bit easier if you don't want to work on pages upside down necessarily, at least not from scratch. So all you have to do for this one is start with a regular letter size template. or whatever size you want, really. What makes this technique good is that you can really do any custom size you want. But I'm just going to go ahead with letter and create a blank page. And the only rule here is when you're designing, you can design each page just like it was a regular page, and you're going to add a new one for each new page. So just as an example, really quickly, I'm going to add in a background. And then add a page. For the next one. And you just do this until you have as many pages as you want or need. So I'm going to add a few more. So once you have your design edited the way you want, and you have all of your pages in order, you can just share this zine directly. Especially, this is really good, especially if you are just wanting to go for digital distribution and you don't want to worry about printing anything, and you want to get it out there online. So you are just going to hit the share button, click the More tab at the bottom of the page, and click View Only link. You can copy this link and paste it wherever you like, send it to friends, put it in social media posts, put it in emails, or make a QR code and put it on little cards that you can hand out to people. But once that person scans this link or searches for it or clicks on it, it'll just take you to the zine in your browser, and you can flip through it like a regular book. What makes this really cool is that it makes formatting really easy. You can do a lot of different custom shapes for your zine, and you can distribute it very, very easily. So thanks for watching. Those were two different ways that you can make digital zines using Canva. I hope that was a fun project. Feel free to make your own and post them, and tag the library with Fountaindale Lib on Instagram or social media, and we can't wait to see what you create.